Welcome to AK Next Gen Vibes. In this video, we continue our Oracle FLEXCUBE General Ledger series with GL MIS Linkages. The function ID we will focus on is GLDREP. In this session, we'll understand how GL codes are linked to MIS classes and how this linkage supports classification and reporting. Where are we in the GL journey? Before we start, let's see where we are in the General Ledger journey. We started with a chart of accounts, followed by reporting line structure and alternate reporting lines. Then we covered GL Central Bank Line Linkage using function GLDXGLLN. Now we move to GL MIS Linkages using GLDREP. After this, the manual moves to GL Report Classification on MIS class. So this video fits directly into the GL configuration sequence defined in the Oracle FLEXCUBE GL User Manual. What is GL MIS Linkage? So, what exactly is GL MIS Linkage? A GL MIS linkage connects a GL code to an MIS class. Once this linkage is maintained, GL reports can be generated with balances reported against the entries defined in the linkage. The information can also be grouped under different MIS entities. And the reported information is grouped based on the MIS class specified during the linkage. So, the simple concept to remember is GL code MIS class, group GL reporting. Why use GL MIS linkages? Why do we need MIS linkages? The purpose is to provide additional classification and grouping of GL information. Without MIS classification, we may need to create additional GL levels to represent different reporting categories. This can make the GL structure increasingly complex. With MIS classification, information can instead be grouped using MIS classes and MIS codes. So the key benefit is we can classify information without unnecessarily complicating the GL structure. This provides another reporting dimension while keeping the GL structure manageable. GL code to MIS class. Let's look at the linkage concept visually. We start with a GL code. The GL code is connected through the GL MIS linkage, maintained using GLDREP. The linkage associates the GL with an MIS class. The resulting information can then be grouped for GL reporting. The important point is that the MIS class specified during the linkage determines how the reported information is grouped. So remember, GL code GL MIS linkage MIS class group GL reporting. Oracle manual example, loan classification. Let's take the example provided in the Oracle manual. Suppose a bank wants a consolidated report of all loans disbursed. The loans first need to be classified according to their term: short-term, medium-term, and long-term. But the bank also wants additional classification. For example, based on customer type: individuals, banks, corporate and financial institutions. And based on industry type: fisheries, agriculture, manufacturing, and software. So we now have multiple reporting dimensions that the bank wants to analyze. Oracle solution. How can we achieve this without making the GL structure unnecessarily complicated? The Oracle example first creates the main GL loans. Then sub-GLS can be created for short-term, medium-term, and long-term. For the additional classification requirements, instead of creating even more GL levels, the manual proposes using MIS class categorization. This is the key idea behind MIS classification. Use the GL structure for accounting organization, and use MIS classification for additional reporting dimensions. MIS classes in the example. In this example, the manual proposes two MIS classes. The first is MIS Class 1, Customer Type. Its MIS codes include individuals, banks, corporate and financial institutions. The second is MIS Class 2, Industry Type. Its MIS codes include fisheries, agriculture, manufacturing, and software. This gives the bank the additional classification it needs without making the GL structure unwieldy. So MIS classes and MIS codes provide additional ways to organize and report GL information. Invoke GL MIS Linkage. Now let's look at the FLEXCUBE function. The function ID for GL MIS Linkages is GLDREP. To invoke the GL MIS Linkage maintenance screen, enter GLDREP in the field at the top right corner of the application toolbar. Then click the adjoining arrow button. The GL MIS Linkage maintenance screen opens. This is the starting point for maintaining GL MIS linkage records. Create a new GL MIS linkage. To create a new GL MIS linkage, first open the GL MIS Linkage maintenance screen. Click the new icon. The GL MIS Linkages screen is then displayed without any values. At this point, the required linkage details are maintained according to the available FLEXCUBE screen and process. One important accuracy point here. The user manual section we are covering does not specify all individual screen fields, nor does it explicitly define a mandatory save followed by authorized sequence in this section. So we should not assume or add field names or workflow steps that are not documented. Operations on GL MIS linkage records. Once GL MIS linkage records exist, the manual provides several operations. We can amend the details. We can authorize an addition or amendment. We can copy the details record to another. We can close a record. We can reopen a record. We can print the details of a record. And we can delete the addition of a record. One important point from the manual. If an operation icon is disabled in the application toolbar, that operation is not allowed for that particular record. GLDXGLLN versus GLDREP. Now let's distinguish the two GL linkages we have covered. GLDXGLLN is the GL Central Bank Line linkage. It links the GL to a central bank line and supports the central bank reporting linkage. GLDREP, on the other hand, is the GL MIS linkage. It links the GL to an MIS class and supports MIS-based classification and grouping. The manual places these functions consecutively in Chapter 5. An easy way to remember them is GLDXGLLN Central Bank Line. GLDREP MIS class. Key takeaways. Let's summarize the key points. First, GLDREP is the function used for GL MIS linkages. Second, a GL code can be linked to an MIS class. Third, balances can be reported against the entries defined in the linkage. Fourth, information is grouped based on the MIS class specified during linkage. And finally, MIS classes can provide additional classification while helping keep the GL structure manageable. So the core concept is simple. GL provides the accounting structure, while MIS classification provides additional reporting and grouping dimensions. That brings us to the end of GL Part 6, GL MIS Linkages. In the next part, we move into Chapter 6, GL Report Classification on MIS Class. The next section introduces MIS class maintenance. The manual explains that an MIS class is an entity used to classify information relating to customer and internal general ledgers. Each class is assigned a code that can be used to retrieve information. So in the next video, we'll explore MIS class maintenance. If you're learning Oracle FLEXCUBE step by step, follow AK Next Gen vibes for the next part of the GL series. Learn, grow, lead, ***.